up how much is paid into that carrier in the form of premiums. Then you look at how much the carrier pays out to reimburse medical providers, healthcare providers. And that ratio, that fraction has to be at least 60% for a qualifying plan. That's what we call a bronze plan. So essentially what that means that of all the dollars going into the insurer, at least 60% of them are, they're going to have to cover 60% of the medical expenses of the people who hold those policies. Now, that again is not something you need to worry about from an administrative standpoint. It is, again, indirectly a cost thing. A lot of people misinterpret this as saying, well, this means I have to cover 60% of the premium for my employees. It does not mean that. It has no relevant factor that you have to think about and calculate. All you have to know is that someone is going to put a check in a box that says, yes, the policy you're offering meets the actuarial value standard, or no, it doesn't, in which case then you're going to be subject to penalties. Now, again, the next line there is deductible limits. And this is intertwined again with the actuarial value, but in probably ways Kevin may disagree. I think it's probably beyond the scope of what we want to get into because it will get confusing here. But basically, the law limits deductibles for a policy to $2,000 for an individual, $4,000 for a family policy. Now, what this means is that if you've been accustomed to high deductible policies, which typically have much lower premiums, but you cover a substantial part of the year's bill before the insurance kicks in, those high deductible policies are no longer going to be possible, or at least not qualifying. They will not be considered qualified insurance under this law. So there's a limitation now on high deductible policies. Now, you're going to hear about exchanges, and it's important to understand that there are two kinds of exchanges. There's a shop exchange, small business health options, what's the P stand? Program or something of the sort. This is where a small business goes to purchase insurance for its group if you decide to offer group coverage to your employees. Now, importantly, there are no subsidies available in the shop exchanges. This is simply where the idea is, if it works, a convenient place. Think of it as a Travelocity.com or a Priceline.com for health insurance, where you'll go onto some website and there will be insurance offered. You can compare them, make choices. The exchange will presumably handle a lot of the paper flow. Some have argued that it is essentially a human resources department for small businesses. At least that's the idea. Whether it works out that way, time will tell. The individual exchanges, on the other hand, are where an individual employee or non-employee goes to purchase insurance. This is where subsidies